Hey Ravens fans, I'm Ryan Mink. I am joined here by Ravens Director of College Scouting, Joe Hortiz, back from Indianapolis in Owings Mills, and we're going to talk about some of the highlights you saw from the NFL Scouting Combine. Inside linebacker, what did you see from the inside linebacker class?
You know, I think as linebackers as a whole, it's funny, I could probably give this answer for almost every position. Guys are fast, and they're, I don't know if they're training better, I'm sure they are, but they're running better, they're prepared for the combine. You know, they're definitely position drill wise. You can tell the guys are listening down there on the field, understanding what the coaches are asking them to do, and the coaches ask them to do a lot of different drills. So, you know, I'd say that, you know, in terms of speed out there, again, you know, there's some guys that ran really well, and the ones that ran average, I thought they moved well, you know. So
right.
It's a pretty good group. It's a deeper group, especially inside linebacker. Outside linebacker, it's a great group too, in terms of depth, but inside linebacker, it's much deeper this year than it was last year. Definitely much deeper.
Right, and one name that's popped out a lot is an Alabama guy, Dante Hightower, and kind of had a knee injury earlier in his college career, rebounded from that and came back and had some good seasons. What do you see when you look at him on tape, and what did you see from him at the Combine?
Well, I thought he had a good Combine. He moved around well, especially when you factor in the guy's 260 plus pounds, 6'3" and a half. You know, so he's a big linebacker. Right. You know, watching him on film and watching him at the Combine, he's fast, he's big, he's athletic, he's versatile. You know, at Alabama, he's played both inside backer positions. Mike and Will, they play a 34 defense like us, so that he plays both inside and out, and both inside positions, and he also goes down and plays a rush position on third down. So he's got a lot of versatility to bring to the table. You know, the knee injury got him a little bit. It got him as a sophomore. He's really a fourth-year guy who is really a senior, but he's classified as a junior. Played in 4 games, I think, as a sophomore before the knee injury, and you know, it got him a little bit last year, his quote-unquote sophomore year, right. And he seemed to rebound well from it this year. But he's a guy who's definitely versatile. I think he's got inside-outside flexibility.
Right, and he was co-captain with Mark Barron, the safety there. How much do you look for? I know you guys are always looking for leaders in your locker room, but you've got Ray Lewis there, obviously, the leader of the defense. Do you look for another guy who's like a leader of their college defense? Absolutely,
because I think, you know, the more captains you can get on a defense, we have the ultimate leader in Ray Lewis. There's none better in the NFL, and guys from other teams want to play for him. Guys from other teams reference him. You see it in the papers, right. You know. But leaders understand leadership, and they'll follow leadership. You know, guys that aren't leaders, they're not going to be as quick to understand and follow Ray. You bring a captain in from another school, SEC or anywhere, they're going to understand Ray Lewis's message, and they're going to be willing to follow it, and they're going to try to absorb and gain from him. And because eventually there isn't going to be a Ray Lewis playing for Baltimore, and someone's going to have to step up in that leadership role. And as we get these young guys in here, we want the guys that are natural-born leaders, that are captains at their schools, because they're going to come in and be leaders for us. They may not be the ultimate leader in Ray, but that we have in Ray, but they will be leaders on our team.
Right. Another name that generated a lot of buzz at the Combine was Arizona State's Vontaze Burfict. More on the other side of the buzz. Sure. You know, you kind of ran a little bit of a slower combine or slower 40 time. You know, how do you kind of gauge that when a guy doesn't run, you know, that well, but you see some talent on tape?
Yeah, you know, I think what you have to look at is how does he play. He is a junior, okay? Sometimes those guys don't come in as prepared. They haven't had the full year in their mind to get ready to make the NFL leap, you know, and so, you know, they make that decision. He may have, you know, made it midway, later, you know, I don't know when they ultimately decide, you know, but they don't have as much mental preparation to get in there and run and prepare. A lot of guys, they start their senior year off saying, okay, this is my big year. I'm going to be in the best shape of my career coming into my senior. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They're focused on getting to the NFL from before, you know, when their junior year ends. Right. You know, a lot of juniors, they're coming out with maybe less mental preparation, which leads to less physical preparation a lot of times. So he did not run well. Now, Brandon Spikes didn't run well either. Right. And he was, you know, he ran slower than Vontaze. Right. So I think ultimately you got to look at the film. Does he play faster than he ran at Indy? Because there's a lot of guys that fall into that case. You know, does he play faster? Does he make plays? Is he instinctive? Is he a good football player? And if those things are there, then you can build off of them and worry about the speed. You know, he's got another chance to run again at the pro day, so hopefully he'll be able to better his times for himself.
A lot of questions with him also, you know, circle around his character and some of the things that happened at Arizona State. You know, some questions circled around Jimmy Smith last year, and that obviously worked out extremely well. Jimmy had a great season. There were no off-field issues or anything like that. Blended into the locker room extremely well. Do you look at that and say, well, we work well with these guys. They work well in our locker room, so we can handle somebody like that who maybe needs some more mentorship? Or do you try to avoid it at all costs?
I definitely, you can't throw a blanket on it either way.
Right.
I think you have to look at it each as a case-by-case basis. You look at each individual, see what they're like. Last year we poured a lot of resources in Jimmy Smith because there were character questions on him. We had multiple scouts going there. We had talked to coaches, head coach, position coach, strength coaches, trainers, police officers, police department. We brought them in here. So you do a lot of work on those players, and if you're going to take a player who's labeled as a character concern, you really have to do your due diligence. You can't blindly say, well, he'll fit into our locker room because we have a locker room full of leaders. But that's not always going to be the case. Likewise, you can't say, well, he's a bad guy, we don't want him. You have to really investigate the guys, each guy individually, and come up with an opinion whether you think they can fit or whether you feel like you should move on from them.